Burger King road to the title. It is the 21st of July, it's a Thursday, and it is at the Horncastle Arena in Christchurch. Now, Joseph has been to Christchurch many times in a promotional sense, and every time we go down there, I firmly believe he gets more support there than anywhere else in the country, and it's something he agrees with as well. Obviously, it's Kevin Barry's hometown, and this is going to be a fascinating fight for so many reasons. It's been alluded to that it's a trans-Tasman rivalry, but more than that, last year the WBA actually stripped Joseph Parker of one of his titles, the PABAB title, which is now held by Solomon Haumono. So Joseph never really lost that belt, and yet this fight will be, it'll be interesting to see what happens after Joseph got that belt taken away from him. So I'm going to ask Joseph Parker and Solomon Haumono to come up to the stage just for a little bit. Joseph.
Thank you for being here today. The fight was good. It's got a great result. Made a lot of mistakes, so looking forward to going back into camp and working on those mistakes and improving for the next challenge, which is Solomon Haumono.
How did the body hold up?
The body's good. I feel okay after the fight. Relaxed with the family and had some fun.
So it's an 8-week turnaround, 62 days in fact. You're going to go on holiday as well tomorrow. Are you giving yourself enough time to relax and then get back into camp?
Yeah, I believe Kev's given me 2 weeks off, so I think that's enough time to relax the body and relax the mind. And then I'm looking forward to going back to camp and preparing myself for the next challenge. I think it's good that we're keeping busy. We find it works a lot better.
Kevin, if you just come forward, say a few words, just the fact that we're in Christchurch for this next bout, and also it's after having a 12-week camp, you now got an 8-week camp for this fight.
Well, we've actually got a 5-week camp in Las Vegas, and then we come back here for a tapering off period. So the last camp was 12 weeks, we know it was a very long camp and probably was a little too long, to be honest. But this one, we're going to do a 5-week camp. I've already walked Joe through it. The first week we'll be just getting the motor turning over again, and we'll do 4 weeks of sparring before coming back here to taper off. Joe's done a lot of training over the last 3 months, so having 2 weeks off won't hurt him too much. In fact, he needs to freshen up now. And going to Christchurch, well, I'm absolutely pumped. So I've been trying to get Joe down to Christchurch since I first started working with him over 3 years ago. As Dana said, it's my home. It's where my father is a very well-respected man in Christchurch, and I've always wanted to bring Joe down there. And really excited that we're taking the fight to Christchurch.
Now, I'm sure everyone here has had a look at the international media's reaction to Joseph Parker's win. I think unanimously they agree he belongs now in the top echelon of heavyweights, but they also unanimously agree that there's a lot of work to do, particularly on his defence.
Well, we don't need them to unanimously agree on that. We know that look, we had a good win against a very durable, very experienced, very tough fighter on Saturday night. But Joe also showed in that fight that we have a lot of work to do. We still have a long way to go, and there were defensive lapses in that fight that I was very unhappy with. And just to be completely honest, things that Joe wasn't doing in training camp, things that he doesn't do on a day-to-day basis with me. And I saw when the pressure really went on, there were a couple of times Joe reverted back to his old habits. And look, I don't want to be too critical, but we set very high standards, and we've said that from the beginning. Our goal is to become world champion, and if we are to achieve that goal, then we have to have a skill set at a very high level. And there were many times in the fight on Saturday where I thought Joe showed big lapses in his defence. His hands were too low, his head was too high. Now, Solomon Haumono is a much bigger puncher than Carlos Takam. So defensively, we better be on point in this fight, because if we have a lapse, everything that we've worked for and everything that we've achieved now that Joe is the #1 ranked fighter with the IBF will be taken away from us. So we have a lot of respect for his punching power. If you have a look at his record, he's KO'd nearly everyone he's fought. If you have a look at his legs and his calves, he's a very powerful guy. Former footballer, great athlete, believe me, we will not be taking this fight lightly. A lot of people are saying, oh, this is an easy tune-up fight for you. There are no easy fights now. Every time that Joseph Parker steps into the ring now, this is our world title fight, because if we don't get it right, and if we make mistakes, then we have to regroup. We lose our opportunity to fight for the world title. So there's going to be pressure on Joe. There's a big target on his back every single time he steps into the ring.
Joseph, I'm going to ask a question that a lot of hands from about the fifth round.
Because they dropped. Not sure.
Probably. Was it overconfidence?
No, it wasn't. Just, I felt comfortable that way, or a few injuries here and there. But like Kev said, there was mistakes that we haven't done in camp, and it's just we have to go back to this training camp and work on those mistakes.
Did you know you were doing it? Because everyone around us at the fight was saying, put your hands up. And did you know you were doing it, or was you just in the zone?
Yeah, I knew I was doing it.
Well, I'm going to bring Solomon Haumono being here today. You're surrounded by New Zealand journalists, and already people are saying this is just a warm-up fight because the bigger prize is Anthony Joshua, and that you're really here just to take a paycheck. How do you respond to people who don't rate your chances at all against Joseph Parker?
I think outside of my team, the whole of New Zealand, all the press here, believe that I'm on that chance. But when has an Aussie ever laid down for a kill? I'm here and I'm here to fight. And yeah.
Why do you want this fight? Aren't there easier fights out there?
Well, I believe that I can win this fight, and that's every fighter's. That's what drives every fighter. So I believe Joseph's at the top of his game. I believe I bring power to the table. Knowing that he's faced has the same power that I bring to the table, and it's a good challenge for him. So I look forward to the opportunity.
So you've said in the press release and on there you've got one of his belts. Now you're going to take his dream. Do you think with one punch you can wobble him?
Well, he's the man that stands in front of my dreams, and I have one of his belts. He's the only man that stands in front of mine, and I'm honestly saying that he's up for a challenge on the line.
Do you think the TAB odds I reckon are going to be at best $1.10 Joseph Parker's favour? Every New Zealander is going to bet on Joseph to win this fight. Do you reckon those are going to be good odds? It means you're going to be about $8.
I'm not a betting man, so I'm against betting.
All right. Well, let's ask your manager. Come forward, Matt Rose. Matt, you've been wanting this fight for a long, long time. If you just come forward to the podium here, you've been wanting this fight for a long, long time. If Sol is at $8, is that good value for money?
Yeah, I was sitting there smiling actually. I was thinking that's my first bet, and I guess for knockout he would be paying a bit more. So I guess we got 10,000 can go down on that straight away.
So that's great fighting talk, but a lot of people think that there's a different class in the two fighters here.
Forget the class. At the end of the day, Sol's got the power to knock Joseph out. Look, great performance on the weekend. Carlos taking him to #1 in the ratings, IBF and WBO. Sol's been waiting for this chance for a couple of years. Each time Duca rang up and said, do you want this fight? We've replied with a yes. Each time it's come back, oh, not this time. 6 months ago, you mentioned about the PABA title. He was a mandatory, he was instructed by the WBA to take the fight. You relinquish the title. So it's not like Sol hasn't wanted to fight top-line fighters. He's accepted fights with David Haye. He's accepted fights with Hughie Fury. He's accepted fights with all the top-rated fighters. At the last hurdle, they've all pulled out, and they've all come back with the same reason: Solomon's power. David Haye did not take Solomon because of his power. He chose Mark Damori, and that shows where Solomon is on the world scale, and he just hasn't had the opportunity to prove it yet. He's here now. He's going up against Joseph, who is an unbelievable fighter. But that's where we think Solomon is too. Solomon,
you were there on Saturday night, actually incognito. I believe you're the first Joseph Parker opponent ever to go to one of his fights incognito. Well, I certainly didn't see you, but I know you were there. because usually we don't allow that. What do you make of the atmosphere, the
We
crowd?
allow it, Kevin Barry doesn't, he cries when a little girl and the opponent want to come out.
What do you make of Joseph's performance and the kind of atmosphere that you can expect in Christchurch?
It was a great night. I believe Joseph put it on, you know, for the fans. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to the opportunity.
Do you see those defensive? Do you agree with the defensive frailties?
There are many flaws there, I believe, and you know, I think that that applies for all of us fighters. But you know, again, I don't want to say too much because I got to bring something to the table on the night, and that's what I want to bring.
Dare I say it? I hate to use the cliche. As we all seen the movie Rocky. This is one chance.
If you like to put it that way, I'm the Australian Rocky. So I'm the underdog here, and I believe on the 21st you're going to see a great fight.
Okay, what I'm going to do now is ask you guys to move your microphone.
Fist up. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. On this way down for me, guys. Right, here. Thank you. Thanks, fellas. Thank you.
Just relax while we get.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Good.